What's going on, my little piglets? It's your BFF Pork Chop here, and I'm coming at you with another installment of Pokemon Emerald. This is Part 3, The Siege. The title will make sense momentarily. I do need to apologize. I had some audio difficulties, so towards the latter half of this episode, you're going to hear a bunch of static, a little with the audio, and I apologize for it. So I'm literally doing a voiceover work as I am recording this episode, actually post-recording. So I'm literally just exploring Rustboro, and then I'm showing you guys the two new Pokemon we added. We had a Slackoth named 2020, because let's be honest, 2020 was garbage. So, and it has a gentle nature, which I think that's a little bit of irony. And then we also got a Saltator, which is Latin for dancer, and that is our Roltz, and it's a bashful, tiny dancer. So these are probably going to be the main four that I have pretty much through the entire video almost, or actually the entire series. So I'm just exploring to see what a little bit of this town has to offer. I go into this building and I talk to everybody on the floor, expecting them to give me, treats and gifts and stuff like that. And it just, there's nothing really there. There's almost nothing there. And then you go talk to this little girl and this old man over here, and they're pretty much just talking about the corporations. And oh, she does give you a Premier Ball, which is awesome, because I found out that if you buy the balls in bulk, if you buy Pokeballs in bulk, they give you a Premier Ball pretty much for free. So that was interesting when I found that out. And then there's this guy up here, and they all look the same. And all he pretty much was talking about is how the president likes to collect rare stones. And then you go to this person who's like, oh, the president's son also likes to collect stones. So it's just kind of a family business collecting stones, I believe. And so that's pretty much it for this building. There's nothing really else to explore. And then as we get into the depths of this town, we go to the Cutter's house, where I found out, I completely forgot about this. If you talk to this guy, he gives you Cut, which is a hidden machine, a HM1, and you can use Cut to cut down trees, which is going to be very beneficial for us going forward, because there is a tree in the forest, or in the woods, so to speak, that needs to be cut in order to gain access into that part of the woods. And then she tells you that the Rustboro Woods, there's stuff to cut down. But we can't use this outside of battle until we get the first gem. And this guy's like, "Oh, you're a new face around these parts. You must be transferring to the new Pokemon school." Yeah, no, I know more than you. I'm too school for cool. Every Pokemon has a special ability, this person says. Strange creatures, and yes, they are. Pokemon are extremely weird creatures. And now you go talk to this guy, and he's talking about how fatherhood is hard, and he wants to try to make his daughter laugh, but there's nothing doing. And he asks if you want to send her a little bit of a message to try to get her to laugh. I didn't know specifically what the message was. There's a specific thing that you're supposed to put here. I originally was going to be a little distasteful, and I was going to put D's nuts. But I was like, no, this is a child we're talking about. So I decided to keep it a little G-rated. And so I just put simply just you. If I can figure out how to type here. I just put you are, and then silly. And I just put, you're silly. You're silly. Kind of like what Murr did on Practical Jokers. It's like, you're silly. You're silly. And nothing telling. Like, the child is a serious child, evidently. So, nothing. And then this lady talks about, it's a hard thing to do every day, and that's coming up with meals to feed everybody. Which, I mean, being a household, a husband, I work, my wife works, everybody works in this house. So, it's kind of hard to come up with meals, and sometimes you're just like, you know what, let's just eat leftovers, or, there's a Taco Bell right down the street, so let's go explore that. And I go into this building only to get denied access because I'm not properly authorized to enter the building. So, enter the building for no reason, and this guy's like, "Hey, I like your running shoes. That's one of our products. Nice to see that somebody's using it." So, and that's pretty much all doing for that. And so I decided right then and there that it's no more time to waste around. Let's go ahead and go to the gym, where we come up against not one, not two, but 3 trainers at this gym. And I'm going to go ahead and show the gym battles for the trainers inside the gym. I'm not going to show every single battle outside, but this one was a little bit of a difficult choice because I started 2020 and it was like, not much doing, and so I loafed around a little bit, and then I finally came to the conclusion that after I put this thing to sleep that I was going to put in a different Pokemon, and I believe it was Pio that I decided to put in there because it has Absorb, and I figured, hey, Absorb is pretty much going to be our bread and butter with this gym, so let's go ahead and start using it, especially with the younger guys. And so we did, and I'm not sad about the outcome. It was pretty much a one-shot KO with the Absorb, which is awesome because it was enough to knock him out pretty much. If I would have done it in one hit, it would have been a hell of a lot easier. But regardless, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and switch Pio to the start and let 2020 kind of take a little bit of a break, because let's be honest, like I said, 2020 sucked, so 2020 can just chill in the corner for a moment. And so this is a 2v2 battle, a youngster and a camper. And so with these two, they bring out 2 different types of Pokemon, which is totally cool. But it was pretty much a landslide. I could have probably done 2v1. And with Pio, and I would have probably just been more than okay. So I'm not really worried about it at all. Even though the 2020 is kind of slacking in this battle, Pio can pretty much just knock out all 4 of them by himself if he wanted to. And he grew to level 14, which I completely forgot has a very awesome end to this battle. And so we use Yawn to make this Geodude go to sleep, but it takes a 1 turn difference pretty much to get it to go to sleep. So I just decided to go ahead and use Scratch, even though it's not going to do anything because it's loafing around. And then we pretty much get the I think we get the Hiker taken care of, and he's done. No more Pokemon for him, and it's just pretty much the youngster that has to pretty much feel the wrath of that, of which is Pio. Because 2020, like I said, ain't really doing much, but that's okay. Now it's a 2v1, now it's not a fair fight, but we don't care. We get that knocked out pretty quickly while it's sleeping, so hopefully it didn't feel much pain, and it goes bye-bye. And then we let it bring out the final Pokemon. Tommy brings out the final Pokemon, which is another Geodude. I thought it was a different type, but it turns out no, they're just all Geodudes around these parts. And so we get him knocked out fairly quickly with 1 Absorb, and that's just a cakewalk. This gym is a cakewalk thanks to Pio. It could have been a little bit of a problem if we didn't have a Pokemon like him. We're given a few water Pokemon choices to begin with. You get your Wingull, you get your Marill, you get your Lotad, but I went ahead and got with the Lotad. And Pio is the first Pokemon of the series that evolves. It's usually Torchic that evolves into Combuskin. No, we're letting Pio be the first guy to do so. And it's awesome because a Lombre is, like I said, 1 step closer to becoming a Lucario. No, not Lucario. I forgot what the name of the Pokemon is. It's the badass, though, and you need a Water Stone to get him to evolve. So once we get a Water Stone, an appropriate level will evolve. Hi, I'm Roxanne, the Rustboro Gym Leader. I became a gym leader so that I might be able to apply what I learned at the Pokemon training school in battle. Would you kindly demonstrate how you battle and with which Pokemon? So, right off the bat, we face off against Roxanne, our first gym leader. So it's Roxanne versus Porkchop. and she sends out, you guessed it, a Geodude, because who wouldn't have a Geodude in this gym? So we use Absorb, and this Geodude, I believe, if I remember correctly, nope, never mind, the other one. That Geodude goes down like a sack of potatoes. So there it goes, bye-bye, and we get to level 15. And I start feeling a little guilty. So I decide, hey, let's let Norris have a little bit of fun. Now it's one level below, and we need to get him back to being El Capitan. So I decided to bring him out, but it's kind of a little bit of a, let's just say it wasn't that great of an outcome, because I forgot about Rock Tomb, and I'm like, oh yeah, Rock Tomb is one of the downfalls of picking a fire starter Pokemon. And so I decided, you know what, this is P.O.'s show. We'll let Norris come into the spotlight once again very soon, and we're just going to let P.O. just pretty much absorb its way to victory. So this second Geodude gave us a little bit more trouble than we bargained for, but we eventually get him knocked out with the Lombre, and I'm not even looking back. And look at that, they're both at level 15 at the same time. So the Nose Pass is something, whew boy, this is a Pokemon that's very strange looking to begin with, and so I'm like, you know what, Absorb, this might take about half of its HP. No, it does probably about a quarter damage. And then this Nose Pass uses Harden to make our lives a little bit harder. No pun intended. And we use Swift. I was expecting it to be something like a stun effect or something like that, but no. And it blocks us, which this is the worst move. We can't escape. So, I mean, luckily we had a water/grass type right here. If we would have had somebody else, like let's say the Torchic, then we might have ran into a snag. But luckily, P.O.'s a tank here, and the berries start coming out, the potions start coming out, and it makes this battle drag a little bit longer than it needed to, because with that Harden still in effect also, it decreases the amount of HP that we take away from it, but we took a big chunk there. And there's the potion. This is where she starts on her bullshit, because she uses the potion here, and I believe she uses about one or two more, and gets it down almost to half, and it uses another tackle. It realizes, this Nose Pass, I believe, realized very quickly that it was screwed, and I believe Roxanne kind of knew that too, because once it had its energy drained again, she uses another potion, and it's just like, come on, you're just delaying the inevitable. Because I have not only Norris waiting in the wings, I have Saltator, and then I have 2020 as well. So if she was going to knock out my my Lombre, then it wouldn't have been much of a problem. We could have figured something out. But with all these potions that she's using to restore the HP, it just got very annoying very quickly. And luckily, I was happy to get it knocked out on this particular hit, because it's gone, it's done. We get our first gym battle, and we get our first gym badge in the books. So if you look on the right over here, we're going to be able to unlock that first badge over there on the right. So not right now, because she's talking about we need to accept it. And we get $1,500, which I'm okay with. I'm more than okay with. And there we go. We received the stone badge. So right there about now, it'll be up there. So we get that taken care of, and then once we pretty much get outside of the gym, but first real quick, she gives us the Rock Tomb, the one that could have been Norris's Doom Rock Tomb, and we get that in our TM. And then I did get a Bullet Seed earlier. I didn't know if I wanted to teach it to P.O. or not, so I didn't decide yet. But as you come out, and for some reason I go into the back of the gym, as you come out, get out of my way. Team Aqua comes and steals from Devincorp, and so you have to follow this guy pretty much all the way up here, and you have to retrieve the package for Devincorp, because they can't do it themselves. and I bet you he couldn't really get far in that three-piece suit. And I'm in my training gear, so I bet that I could probably do much better than he can. And I tried my best to avoid any trainers and any of the tall grass, but it eventually gets to you regardless. And we just move forward. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go behind this lady. Nope, she turns right as we go behind her. And she talks about how she studies. It's like, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. She studies in the morning, she studies in the evening, she studies at supper time. And her name's Karen. So she is studying to become a Karen, and we beat her soundly with Norris, luckily. And so we just progress forward. And then I realized that I'm going to go ahead. Now is the time to switch Norris to our number 1 guy so that we can continue with him and to get him up to that number 1 status that he deserves. Running into the tall grass Pokemon here and there. Here's a Poochyena right here that I knock out fairly quickly with an Ember, and we call it a day with that. And so I'm like, oh, do I want a double battle? Not really. And then, of course, the hiker says that there's pretty much a dead end, and we get him knocked out fairly quickly, and it was a pretty easy battle with the double kick. And so I'm like, okay, does this guy move at all? The answer is no. And of course the youngster was like, I'm bored, let's battle, there's a dead end up there. And then the hiker's like, we will rock you hard. It's like, And then we put the Brazzers logo in the right corner over there. And then we get them knocked out very quickly. Norris goes up to level 16, which you know what that means. It's a twofer. We get a 2-for-1 in this video with Norris evolving from Torchic to Combuskin, and it means we're one step closer to getting to one of my favorite Pokemon, and that is Blaziken. And it's a weird looking teenage little middle ground Pokemon here for sure, but regardless, he's ours, and he's a badass, and he's sprouting legs, and right as he evolves, he learns double kick. So I decide to get rid of Growl and have Focus Energy still be there. And so we got rid of Growl, and we learned double kick, which comes in handy. Earlier I said we did a double kick move. We didn't do double kick. We just embered all the way to victory. And it says, oh, who am I? What am I doing here? They pretty much stole this guy's Peko, which is his Wingull. And so we have to go into the tunnel. And the guy was like, hey, where are you coming? Are you coming to come get some? He's coming. Just too many comes. Too many comes and sums. And he's like, alright, the hospice Pokemon ended up being worthless. And to think that I made a getaway into this tunnel to nowhere. Because it's a dead end. And you practically need to, I believe, have, you need to have an HM or a TM to get through to the other side, which we do not have right now. So here we get to use a double kick for the first time. So I decided to use it, and it doesn't even take the double. It just takes a single kick straight to the face, and Poochyena is gone. My career has come to a dead end. But this guy needs to be a stand-up comedian. And so he pretty much says that it was an easy job to steal from Devin, but then there was a dead end. And he was like, you know what, take the goods back, take the Wingull back, and I'm out of here. And he takes off. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, Peko, thank God you're safe. Thank you so much. She owes you her life. She loves you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Brenny. And he keeps saying thank you, and if you have any trouble at all, don't hesitate to tell me. And his cottage is by the Petalburg Woods, and that's where we're going to head to into the next installment. We're going to do a little voyage to get our second badge, and we also are going to go fishing a little bit. And I decided to go ahead and see what's up here, and it's another Pokeball. I shouldn't have even wasted my money buying these Pokeballs because they're all over the place. That was a Wishmer. I forgot that's all there's pretty much in these caves is Wishmers. So we exit, and I tried, like I said, once again, not to interfere with anybody. And, of course, I run into a Pokemon there. I think it was a Poochyena. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to keep walking. And see you later, Karen. Oh, look, another Pokeball. And as soon as we turn, and pretty much just stare at the guy. He turns around and he's like, oh, I got tough bug Pokemon. And not so tough. I get them knocked out pretty easily with Norris. And we found a Repel, which is going to come in handy here pretty soon. Not in this installment, but in a future installment. And so you talk to the guy about the goods that were stolen, and he is so grateful that he decides to give you yet another Great Ball. I think an Ultra Ball would have been more fantastic because, you know, one time it deserves a Great, 2 times deserves an Ultra, you know. And he's just talking about how he's on the 3rd floor, and this is the president's office, and how grateful he is of what he's done for you. And he wants us to deliver the parcel to the Slate Port shipyard. And we told him, okay, you know, we'll do it, whatever. And he's like, if you could do that for me, that'd be great. And then he tells you to hold on a second because he wants to introduce you to the president of Devon Corp. And so you get there, and the president just turns out to be a little old man. And his name is Mr. Stone. He's from Devon Corporations. And he says, thank you for saving our asses, not once but twice. And he has asked us for not only to deliver the package to the shipyard, but he wants us to stop in Dewford Town and drop off a letter to Steven. Because he gives us, ironically, he gives us a Pokénav, but he doesn't use it to call Steven. I'm just poking holes in that plot, apparently. And that's okay. But he gives you the Pokénav right here. And the Pokénav is pretty much a cell phone. You can call trainers, you can hang out, you know, and do all those kind of things. And I believe that you can challenge them to rematches. And it also is a map that helps you to find Slater Port and everything like that. And then he talks about how Magma and Aqua are pretty much having a gang war. And then he says you need to rest up. Which is a good thing that we rest up. Not for the reasoning that he says, but for what happens afterwards. And then I go digging around here, because I know that there's a fossil that you can find, but I forget where to find it. So I literally talk to every single scientist, and all they want to talk about is just the Pokénav, and they talk about the fossil, like a resurrection program that they're coming up with, but they don't give it to you. And I was kind of like, really, just give me the damn fossil. Because the claw fossil is what I want, and I forget where to find it. So I should have been more Pacific like the ocean in my notes, because it's just like, go get fossil. It's like, I swear. Like, where do I go get the fossil? And then I just re-talk to these guys again. I go back here to see if there's something cool, and it's like, oh, no, it's just a rock, and it talks about DevCorp and how awesome they are and what they produce and manufacture. And then she's like, hey, we're proud of the products and the medicine and whatever. And then this guy's like, it sounds like they've recovered the dev goods. Yeah, from me. And then one of the scientists is like, hey, Kollin, hey, Pork Chop, wait up. I need you to take this, and I need to put an upgrade. There you go. So he gives you the president's phone number, President Stone's phone number. And he tells you to call him really quick. It took everything out of me to not be like, nope, and just walk off. And then he's like, oh, Chop, since you're calling me, the Pokénav must have worked like it was supposed to. And then you can register people, yada, 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 make it quite happy. How do I know? Because I'm looking at you through my office window. Not a creeper at all. Definitely getting some President Clinton vibes from that guy. But anyway, back to work, says the scientist. And as you're leaving the town to go back to Mr. Brenny, there's one more person that's waiting for us, and that is May. So we are going to cap this episode off with a little battle with May, and then we're going to call it good. And once again, like I said, she wants to register in the Pokénav, and talks about how Brenny's gone back to his little shack, his little, pretty much his oceanfront property in Arizona, minus the Arizona. And then May challenges you to a battle, and that's how this episode is going to end. We're going to challenge May. She has a Torkoal, and this Torkoal proves to be a little bit more of a pain in the ass than I bargained for. because I used Ember on it, and that was probably the stupidest thing that I probably could have done. But this Torkoal just spammed Curse over and over and over again. Like, that's all it did. It didn't attack us one time, I don't think. And so it took a while. We got all the way down to half, and it just kept using Curse and kept using Curse, which made our attack not do as much as it used to. So their defense increases, and it continues to increase, just spamming. The AI for that was very cheeky, to say the least. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to double kick all the way. And it takes forever. Luckily, she didn't do what Roxanne did and have a berry or have a potion just waiting at bay to unleash on us. No, she actually let us pretty much knock it out. She easily could have been like, no, I'm going to use this potion and screw you. But no, the battle wasn't delayed any further than it needed to be. So we do it one more time, and that is all she wrote for Torkoal. Say goodnight, Gracie. So we drop it like the piece of ash it is. And then we get up to level 17 with Norris, which is awesome. And so we decide that, you know, Norris has done enough with not getting touched at all. So we bring out Pio to face off against that Mudkip, because we have a little attack called Absorb, if you guys remember that one. And Absorb is just an absolute destructive thing to use. And it took me a minute to decide if I wanted to use Astonish or Absorb, but I'm like, oh wait, it's a water type. This is going to be awesome. And luckily, it was the right choice, because all it used was Bide on that turn, which, again, it probably could have unleashed something way worse than what it was anticipating. So the energy was drained, and it stored more energy, and we pretty much ended this battle with May unscathed. Nothing happened in this battle but a victory, and we didn't even get touched. Probably one of the easiest battles that we can do against May. She says, you're better than I thought. She gives us $900, and he's pretty much talking about that. Pretty much that's it. And guys, thank y'all so much once again for dropping by, and always remember my little piglets. Kollin Pork Chop loves y'all the most. So y'all take it easy, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys.